Hey guys, this is Chris Strickland. We are back with the holy grail of healing your life, your soul, your destiny in this life with the power of Chiron. And we are on Chiron and Scorpio. So if you have this placement, this is for you. The associated master that you should work with is Buddha. Can't get any better than Buddha. But Buddha's awesome and so peaceful. And the wound that a Chiron and Scorpio has is fear of losing things. If you can get over this wound and heal it, which is never easy for any Chiron placement, you're gonna have this transference of trauma by relating past people in your life that have caused you this trauma and transferring that energy over to more positive people, say like a therapist. Like, say your mom abused you, and then later in life you go to a therapist. Well, you transfer that trauma from your mother to the therapist, and the therapist could remind you of who your mother was supposed to be or how she was supposed to treat you. I know it's a little confusing. So basically, a Chiron and Scorpio person bears the pain of fear. If you have this placement, it means there's a past life wound of something being taken away from your personal power. So in this life, you may find yourself in a constant cycle of initiations into groups, programs to gain back what was taken from you in that life, because that's what's weighing on you now in this life. That's why your wounds are here. And a Chiron and Scorpio person needs to learn to own their power on a personal level. And this needs to be learned through circumstances and situations that make you feel powerless. And as hard as this may be, it'll eventually drive you out of that constant fear of life and death. Also, when you heal this placement, it'll clear out feelings of judging other people and also see a deeper perspective on these individuals, and you'll actually begin to appreciate them and understand them better, of where they're coming from and why they do the things they do, and that it's not so personal towards you. So as you're healing these feelings of fear of losing your personal power, you'll learn to embrace change and see that other people out there are suffering just as much, just in different ways, other Chiron placements, just as much as you are. You're really learning how to be the Phoenix Scorpio rising from the ashes, rather than the petty, lower level, spider leveled Scorpio. So healing this placement is the rise from the ashes to become a phoenix. And also, after healing this placement, you'll be more empathetic for others around you. Your awareness of yourself and others will boost tremendously. And until you heal this placement, you are going to continue in this vicious cycle of fearing emotional losses, financial losses, personal losses, any kind of loss. So it would be in your best interest to get on with healing this. And it's never easy, like I tell every Chiron placement. Chiron is not easy to heal. It's not meant to be easy to heal. That's the challenge. Another thing to point out with this placement, until you start healing your Chiron placement in Scorpio, you're going to find yourself drawing in people that are like power plays, you know? And another interesting thing about Chiron and Scorpio people is you guys can severely struggle to embrace or own your sexuality, and maybe even attract partners with that same problem. And I point the sexuality thing out because the sign of Scorpio is driven by sex in general. So once you become honest with yourself about who you really are and what you really want, that's gonna open up your psyche. It's gonna activate your kundalini. It's going to cause you to become extremely confident in your spirituality, and you're just gonna feel empowered. So it's definitely worth healing. Chiron and Scorpio in a natal chart points to the fear of embracing your softer feminine side, emotional, mental, or sexual abuse, and Even religious persecution growing up. These are things that a lot of Chiron and Scorpios go through in their lives that need to be transferred into something positive with new people. Here's a little warning of ignoring this placement and not working on it. You can become so fearful of loss that you become extremely possessive, overly dominant to others, uncertain, jealous. And the funny thing about being jealous is if you're truly jealous of something, 9 times out of 10, you don't know you're jealous. So keep that in mind. And on top of that, it'll attract people into your life who ignore these problems that they have as well. Sort of like trauma bonding. So if you don't heal it, you're going to bring people into your life that are also not healing these same kind of problems, even if they don't have Chiron and Scorpio. And the best advice I could give you guys with Chiron and Scorpio is to learn how to appreciate the losses in your life. See the true meaning behind it. See the lesson in it. Because I'll say it again, I've said it a million times, everything happens for a reason, even if you don't understand it. And if you don't understand it, you're not meant to understand it. But that doesn't mean you can't find some sort of understanding of it, of this was supposed to happen. I may not know the whole reason why it's happening, but you gotta stop projecting the fear on yourself and others because of a lack of understanding. Crystals to work with. Smoky quartz. That's an awesome quartz. I have a few of those. Excuse me if I'm saying these wrong, because I do not have these stones. Chrysoprase, Tibetan quartz, and cherryoid. I hope I said that right. And an affirmation for you guys while you're meditating or however you meditate, something to say to yourself. I feel safe, I feel protected, and I feel free. I am loved and empowered by myself and others. I really hope that helped you guys. Work on that Chiron. It'll do you so much good.